Is he working? Like you?
No.
Okay.
He works in a company called Neptune.
Neptune. Boss, you have to tell me when to start.
You can start.
You can start?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's live.
Boss, you have to tell me when to start.
It's working. Everything is done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So audio is here, there?
Yeah.
Here.
Audio is here.
Okay.
Video is from there.
Okay.
Let me just put it on DD. I think you're all set. Yep.
What about you? Okay, I'm not from IIT. Oh, you're visiting Chicago. I think since the last when did we graduate? 25. May. I did as a contract. So currently I'm looking for a mix. Are you still working? No, I ended.
I tried to prop it open, but it wouldn't stay open. Oh, you need two? I tried with one, it didn't work. Maybe two will work. Yeah.
You're not a W student. You have a period pay varies according to the company. So you would be filing the tax for 109. And that's only after people. You can't be a contractor and not in. Nothing will happen. But it depends. If you're contracting for a really big company, they will provide you insurance for startups usually. So that's it. Two only things that is very important. Just letting it come. Okay. I have a section about that. Ivani, yes. So many things I have.
Start?
Should we? We can edit.
Yeah, I think, right?
The live stream
Okay.
start.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, welcome. People who was here last time and new faces too. Okay, so quick recap of what it was last week because both of it is related. We were talking about something called as the mechanics of the heart. Essentially talking about how we can effectively communicate with people. The word we use is called empathic communication. Essentially, empathy, communication, communicating empathetically. That's the whole idea of it. And we talked about sympathy and empathy, how there is a difference between both of them. We had a very detailed conversation on that. A lot of points from a lot of people, right? But just as a recap, sympathy is when you make yourself the center of attraction or center of focus when you're talking to someone else, and empathy is when you act more like a mirror rather than projecting your own feelings or your own judgment or your own inputs when someone's speaking to you. Clear? Yeah, cool. Okay. So we also spoke about the 4 Ds of disconnection. Diagnosing, denying responsibility, demanding, and deserving. These are pretty self-explanatory terms. This is mainly for people who are new, which is you two. And we have something called as the language of the heart, which boils down to feelings versus thoughts. This is where I think a lot of us had very interesting realizations, including myself. So feelings is very hard for, I'm going to take generally, feelings are very hard for us to talk about and describe and understand. Did anyone of you try the last week, try to understand, where you were actually feeling versus, where you were having thoughts? Really? How did you catch yourself? Like how often were you operating in feelings domain versus thoughts domain?
So it's not that I introspected a lot, but
Mhm.
I did feel that this was a thought and this was a feeling.
Yeah. Okay.
It struck to me at that moment.
Oh wow.
Like some person, he told me something,
Okay.
and I reacted.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I should not have, but I just felt there was just a thought which I understood as a feeling, and I proceeded. And that difference struck to me there.
Okay. After you spoke, or in hindsight? In hindsight, right? Well, that's still good, right? At least you had the presence of mind later on to kind of understand and think about it. That's nice. Yeah. Good job. Well, this is where we stop. So some of the words that I had later on was this words which we generally use, and why is a thought, and because we call it hidden feelings, because I feel ignored. You're assessing that someone else is not paying attention to you. So if you see all of these words, you will see that the verb that is used, ignored, cheated, it is verb, right? Yeah, I think it is verb. Okay, cool. Ignored, cheated, misunderstood, threatened, pushed, and everything. It is all something that we think the other person did to us. It is what the other person did to us, but we feel like, oh no, it is my feeling, like it came from me.
Sorry.
Hey, no problem. How was your midterm?
Well,
You did well? Okay, good.
but I
Take it
didn't
easy.
get grades yet, so
As long as you pass. Okay, great. Yeah, I was just doing some recap of last week. Hello, sir. Yeah, so as I was saying, some of these words, though it feel like a feeling, this is actually a thought, because we are actually saying that someone else did this to us, and it is not how we actually feel inherently. And that's another way to distinguish between feeling and a thought. Like, if we think that, oh no, what someone else did for me, and it's probably a thought, not a feeling. Okay, unless it's arising from inside. And this is called the feelings wheel. uh, Horrible. I'm sorry. PowerPoint is so limited. I will share this in the group. But as you can see, remember how we touched upon emotions and feelings, like how emotions are different from feelings. Well, different in the sense emotion is the base one, and feelings are the spectrum in which the emotion shows up. So, for example, okay, let's go with something good, happy. Okay, because we always do it. And that's the one that's hidden. I'm sorry. Okay. Fearful. I'm not going to turn my head like a conjuring thing to read this. So, fearful. This is the base emotion. And the feeling that it could be a spectrum like scared, anxious, insecure, weak, rejected, threatened. All of this fall into this broad emotion. But these are individual feelings, which could be further like helplessness, frightened, overwhelmed, worried. You see how even scared has two meanings there, where two spectrums there, where it's a feeling of helplessness versus a feeling of frightened. I'm sure there is more. But you see how if you start with this, you can eventually boil them down to this. You just have to keep asking why. And no matter how far off the feeling is, as long as you keep asking enough whys, you will eventually come here. And it works. I've tried it. It works. The problem is it takes time. And that is where all of us suck at, because we want instantaneous things, including myself. So this is mostly a practice. That's going to take a while, unfortunately. But it does get easier, because the more you keep practicing this, it becomes a second nature. And honestly, you see enough things in your life that you kind of remember this at some point. So it'll just work out, at least for me. Yeah. Cool. So this is.
It's a question.
Oh, sure. Okay, go ahead.
It's not a question, it's the thought. The first time I came across something like this was when I was reading this book called Why Has Nobody Told Me This Before by Dr. Jody Smith. If anyone's looking into that genre, it's a really good book. Her idea of this wheel is to enhance our vocabulary to let us figure out what we're feeling. So
True.
You mentioned it this way. She says go from in to out so that you become more communicative and really expressive about exactly how you're feeling. Just the thought.
No, it works both ways. You're absolutely right. Yeah. And why that also works is because instead of saying to someone, okay, uh, yeah, when I said go from here to here, that is for our internal understanding of what we are actually feeling, okay, or the base emotion is what the base emotion is. But like how you mentioned how to go from here to there, this will help us when we try to communicate to the other person what I'm feeling or what is my problem right now and what I want you to help in way. Like essentially, this is a need. If you think about it, like if you're feeling helpless, that means your need is you want help at that point. But when you're telling to someone that, hey, you know what, I'm fearful, that doesn't really help them. But if you go down like, hey, you know what, I feel scared, then maybe they can offer something else. But if you're more specific, I'm feeling helpless. Oh, okay, cool, I can help you in a certain way. So it works both ways. Great that you brought that up. Thanks. Uh, cool. So this is what we spoke about last week. Um, so where do we go from here? So the next step is called the 4 gears of communication. So how we spoke about the 4 Ds of disconnection, or do you guys remember? We just went through it. Should I go back again? Cool. Okay. Uh, so this is the complete opposite of that. So what is it exactly? These are the 4 gears that need to work when you're speaking with someone so that that person can understand you, or you can be more clear in your communication so that that person does not misunderstand you as well. Okay. So the first key aspect is observation. Anyone wants to take a guess on what that means? Is it visible? The font? Okay. Because last time it was too small. I just want to make sure. Take a wild guess. Observation.
What is the question?
What? Okay. So these, well, I'm claiming that these are the 4 things that need to be in this specific order for you to be able to communicate effectively with someone. And the first step is observation. What do you think it means?
Judging someone within yourself.
That is observation.
I did.
Okay.
I guess just the
But I think
narrative.
it doesn't have to be kind of a judgment, because when you judge, then you have an opinion. So it's like understanding more rather than judging. Two different factors.
Yeah.
Judging means you have an opinion. Understanding means you just know what's happening in someone's life or your life, but you don't have an opinion about it. Good or bad. You will,
Yeah.
that's kind of-
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the narrative, like what's going on.
Right.
What are the facts that are presented before? What's the situation, right?
Yeah.
What's going on? Like,
Right. Right.
The observation can be like, I'm not. I don't have a job. I'm just a student. Maybe could be an observation, and then you kind of go a bit deeper into that specific situation. Or I lost a loved person.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reality. That's like an observation. That's the truth. And then you dive a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing.
Right. Yeah. Basically, lack of judgment, like what you said and you said. Yeah. It's about reporting the facts instead of having a judgment or putting your own story in it. How many of you have had this experience where you tell something to one person and it goes around in a loop and it comes to you in a completely embellished form where there is added mirch masala and everything in there? Yeah. How does that happen? That's because everyone, when they hear it, suddenly their brain adds some, oh, what, this story content will look nice with this salt and pepper over there, and just goes around. And I won't call it judgment, but that's not the observation either. No, that's not the truth either. A classic example of what an observation should look like is a video camera. You guys watched the T20 finals? It came exactly what it was playing, right? No one was doing any form of AI editing over there. That's what observation is. It needs to be, we just have to take it in as it is, right? And that's observation. And it's very hard to do it because we have this judgmental capacity within us where we think we know better, we think we are better than the other person, and we want to share our opinion on it. I do that all the time. Okay, I'm in no way a saint just because I'm talking about all this. I do this all the time. So that's exactly why I have more liberty in saying most of us do that. Okay, so first is observation, and the next is feeling. Um, Essentially, what you're feeling as a person. Like name your. We just saw the feelings wheel, right? So we just have to make sure what is the feeling that we are feeling before we talk, and need. So once we identify our feeling, we can figure out, okay, what is the need underneath that is causing this feeling to surface, and request, like propose a clear positive actionable strategy, essentially telling the person, hey, you know what, I have this feeling, this is my need, I have a request to you, can you help me? An interesting thing is, if you go straight from observation to request, if you skip the feelings and need, you're basically making a demand to the other person. Like an example would be, oh wow, okay, I make an observation that Girish did not present his PPT on time to me. Okay, I am the boss, Girish is my subordinate. I tell him it needs to come at 5 p.m. today. He is late. He did not submit it. That is an observation. That is a fact. You do not submit it. But if I don't try to understand why, what is the feeling behind it? My feeling, let's assume it's anger, because I have a need that things need to be on time. Let's say I ignore both, and I just tell you, can you please submit the PPT at 5 p.m.? How will you feel? Like you're my subordinate. I'll just call you at 6 p.m. Say, why is the PPT not here yet? Does that sound like a request or a demand? Precisely, because I'm not addressing my own feelings and needs, and I'm just venting it out on you. So that's why I say it's gears of communication where you need to go on a step-by-step process. And if you think you can skip something, not gonna work, Jose. And similarly, let's say, if you are sharing your feelings, but you're not telling them why you are sharing or why those feelings are surfacing, you're just venting to that person. How many times has it happened to you guys? How many people have vented with you? How many people have you vented with? As any Okay, let's take both situations, right? I'm sure everyone has been in both scenarios. In situations where someone is venting to you, do you ever feel that, what is this person expecting from me? Like, where is this conversation even going? This person is just yapping blah blah blah, just like how I am doing right now, and there is no purpose behind it. What is this? Ever felt that? That's because they don't want help. They just want a sympathetic ear to listen to. But if they don't tell that to you beforehand, your brain is going to start thinking, okay, what can I do to solve that problem? But on the other hand, if they clearly say, you know what, I have a problem and this is how I can help, I'm sure most of you, if you have in your capacity and if it's a good relationship, if you like your friend, you will do it, right? And that's why these 4 steps are important. Questions, conversations, comments? Okay. Cool. Let's just go into deeper on each one of those. Yeah, observation is describing what it is without having your own story written in there. So we are looking for a common ground between those people. So I'm going to pick you because you're closer here. Uh, let's take the same example. The PPT was not presented. What is a common ground between you and me regarding that particular scenario? What is the fact over there? What is the common ground? Yeah, no one can refute that. You can't say, what, that's false, and I can't also say also that's false, and that's the common ground. And most of the time, we cannot come to that common ground. Okay, because for example, we use these words like you never listen to me, or you never submitted on time. What am I doing there? I'm essentially labeling you, like how we saw the first one, right? What was it called? Oh, the first deed. Oh, thank you. Yes, that. Because essentially I'm labeling you, and I'm telling you you're always like that, though it could have been a one-off thing where there was a genuine problem that you had. But on the other hand, if I give a detailed example like this, you probably won't feel that way, right? And why this works scientifically, apparently, it's because whenever people come to you in a more calm tone and try to tell you, hey, what's happening, you won't feel agitated. Like if I were to come to you and say, you know what, hey, the presentation was late, what's happening, you will actually be open to engaging in a conversation with me rather than me saying, the present, you're always late, why is it not here? You will just shut down, go into your shell like a tortoise. And that's something we don't want, because that doesn't help anyone in this equation, neither you nor the person who you're talking to. So try not to get your own judgments in there and try to be as objective as possible instead of being subjective, and that'll really help you, in starting the initial conversation with the people. And that's why we call it the practice of satya, truth, being truthful, and without adding much masala in there. So usually avoid words like always, never, often, seldom, because they are usually you evaluating that person at that point of time in life, rather than you being factual about something. And feelings, the vocabulary part, glad you brought that up. Honestly, this was my vocabulary for a good chunk of my life. I would say at least 25, 28 years of my life. Good, bad, okay, stressed, fine. Pissed. You can add pissed over there. How many of you feel this way? Still? Yeah? I still fall into this category most of the time whenever I'm stressed. But that's the problem, right? Like we don't have the vocabulary to explain, and that's why a true feeling is more of an internal sensation. It does not require another person to be the reason of it. Like we spoke before, this feeling should come from inside. It's not like you pushed me, you were the reason for me to feel this way. None of that is going to fly, honestly. Okay, and we have something called as the assessment trap. This is what we spoke about before, called the victim verbs, where I feel cheated, I feel ignored. In all of this, if you see, when you use those words, you put yourself as a victim over there. Like, I am a victim of someone else's action. I don't know, this person cheated on me or this person ignored me, so I am the victim here. Please feel sympathy for me. But that's not addressing what your feeling is. Yeah, I feel ignored is not a feeling. This requires someone else to ignore you, which is not coming from internally, it's coming from an external thing. So the real feeling is I might be lonely, sad, etc. The need. I would say this usually needs is the major thing that most of us need to work on next after feelings, because needs is something that we don't understand truly. It's very hard for us to tell, okay, this is my need at this point of time in life, or even at right now. Let's just do an example, right? What are you guys feeling? Some volunteer. I won't pick on Girish. He's probably feeling sleepy. Anyone wants to volunteer? No? Okay. I'll do it. Okay. What are you feeling? Like in general, not
Right now,
right. Okay, right now. Let's go with that.
like
Do you want the wheel to see?
no.
Okay, cool.
I'm focusing to listen what you're saying. Kind of find the normal, like not stressed,
That's a thought.
worried.
When you say you're focusing on what I am saying, you're putting it on me. You see? That's a thought. I'm asking what you are feeling.
Right now, I don't have a level to it. Like I just feel like I'm normal right now.
We have this. Do not say we don't have a label. Let's go.
Okay, yes.
Come on. What are you feeling? Let's see if I can.
Happy one.
Okay, so happy has optimistic, trusting, peaceful, powerful.
Peaceful, I'll say.
You're feeling peaceful. Okay, great. Okay, awesome. You're feeling peaceful. My question to you is, what need has this place met for you to feel peaceful? Or in this point of time, what need is met for you to feel peaceful?
I'm seeking knowledge.
Seeking knowledge. So that's a need for you. And because you're getting there, you're feeling peaceful.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there any point in today, just take as an example, right, where you could not express what your need was?
There was.
Yeah. So what do you think was the difference between that and now, right now?
I'm. I was anxious. Like I had to ask someone something, but I felt that person might feel I'm being rude, or maybe I'm being not kind enough towards that person.
Okay.
So I was confused how to express that.
Okay. And that made you not understand what your need was at that time? Or did you understand what your need was, but you just couldn't communicate it to them?
I know the need.
But you couldn't communicate it to them.
I was really confused how to say to that person, because that person will immediately judge me that, okay, this guy, how he can be so rude to me? That thing was in my head. But that's a real thing. We need to solve it.
You know what? After this, we're coming to that exact point, actually. But yeah, thank you for working on that. But essentially, yes, in your case, you were able to identify your need. But in most cases, people can't. And what happens is, in those cases, we usually end up in the want category. For example, the first point when you said, I feel focused listening to you, that was technically a want, if I may say that. Okay. Because you were putting a specific person, me, a specific action of me speaking to you, which you thought was satisfying your need, but it was actually your want. But your need in this case was knowledge. It does not have to come from me. It could have been coming from anyone in this room, and that would have been okay for you. You see how the difference works? And that's why the wheel is important. And that's why vocabulary is also important. So most of the time, we operate in the zone of strategy, aka want. Why I call it strategy is because we are communication here. But in general, if you want to apply it in every walk of life, it would fall under the category called want. And why is want not good? Because, as this is an example, as I said, it's a specific person, it's a specific situation. It's very, very tailored to that point of time in your life. And that's probably not going to fly because you're not going to get it from the same way from another person. But if you find the underlying need, you could apply it in any point of time in your life. I have a need for knowledge, I have a need for support and contribution. So that's how it will work. And another reason why this won't work is because conflict exists in this zone. Anyone wants to take a random guess on why this zone involves conflict?
It can sound like an order.
Sure.
Why it has to be specific?
Sorry?
Why it has to be specific to someone? That is the conflict.
Yes, precisely. Take this example, right? Let's say I want to call Girish at 8 a.m. in the morning, and I want to talk about the presentation. Is it a want or is it a need? Why is it a want?
Because you decided that.
Correct.
You could have called anyone else.
Well, I mean, he's my subordinate in this situation, so I need to talk to him.
But in any other time.
Thank you. Yes, it could have been any other time. It could have been for after the workday starts or whatever, right? But because I'm saying I want this particular person, there's going to be a conflict here. He's going to be like, hey, bro, my workday doesn't start until 9 a.m. I am not going to attend your call. So now there is conflict. Like I have a need where I need things to be consistent and delivered on time, and I need to talk to this person. But he has this need where I don't start my work until my time. That's my value and that's my thing. So conflicts exist in that situation. But if I move past this, and if I were to reframe the question to him in my needs to say, hey Girish, I need my presentation ready. Can we sync up sometime today to talk about it? That will probably work because now I'm telling him what I want, what is my need in the situation, and he can probably choose whenever time he wants to talk about it. And I just found multiple other ways for this conversation to go. Like he can say, no, I can't do it right now. I can do it at 9 a.m. And then I can further the conversation saying, oh, you know what, how about 9:30 or 10? Yada, yada, yada. But if I go from a strategic perspective, he's probably going to just shut down and say, you know what, the conversation is not going to go anywhere. So when you focus on your need, there are multiple ways in which strategies in which you can achieve your need. But if you start with your strategy and if you're fixed that, hey, you know what, this is how I want it to go, you're probably going to be having a lot of trouble trying to get anything else from the other person. And there is an aspect to it called mourning, which is, let's assume that Girish said no to me. Okay. If I were to take that no very personally, I'm going to feel very angry at him. But if I were to take that no, while I know what my needs are, I probably won't be angry at him because I know, okay, he said no and that's his choice. I still have another option to suggest another time to him, or I can go to another one of my subordinates, whatever. So it is very important for us to be able to accept a no without having to be stuck on the result. If another person says no, and if you can't be empathetic with them and they say that no, then you are not requesting that from that person. You are actually demanding from that person. Let that sink in. Like, if someone says no to you, and if you cannot accept that no, and if anger is boiling inside you, it was never a request in the first place from you, it was a demand. Okay. Yeah, so that's needs. And there is a very interesting concept about needs called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Has anyone even thought about this? I haven't before until I came across this. But
I studied this one in my BTech, in the organizational English.
okay, cool. You and I studied very different BTech courses. Exactly. Like you and I studied very different BTech courses. Okay, all I heard was signals and processing, DSP, and all that stuff. I'm baffled that you actually studied this in your BTech.
The terms were different. The psychological need was mentioned as basic need.
Which is true.
And
Yes.
then was self-safety and security. Then was self-esteem, and the self-actualization is at the top.
Did you come directly from your BTech or did you work and then you come for masters over here? How do you even remember?
I like the table. Maybe that just.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm just taken aback. So I'm sorry, but no.
That lady professor, she was a good professor. Like, I used to like
Oh, that's the reason. Okay.
I mean to say that she was good. She was in 50s probably. No, she was.
The more you talk, the more you're just getting yourself into trouble, honestly.
Seems like he got straight A's in her class.
This was my.
Okay, that's good. That's good. But genuinely, okay. Other than him, has anyone else thought about needs in this segregation? Oh, really? Did you come across it somewhere?
Software project management,
Exactly.
Okay. Anyone else here who did BTech like me who did not go through this? Okay, the fair majority of us. Okay, thank you. I'm not the odd one here.
I'm not from BTech, I'm from design. So anytime we're designing any products to people,
Yeah.
we need to make sure we clearly understand what their needs are and what their wants are. So when we are trying to map their needs, we need to know where exactly is it stemming from. Like what is the
One of these
hierarchy
categories.
of that need and
Wow.
why is that important for us to like map it. So that's the reason.
Oh, interesting. So, did you actually work with people like that?
Yeah, on a daily basis we do.
How hard? Just curious. How hard was it for you to actually find people who could convey their needs properly to you?
It's very difficult. People can't.
See?
So that's why we are like middleman. To
That's why you're paid.
translate. Yeah.
Basically, that's why you're paid.
So we become that.
Yeah. But yeah, jokes aside, but honestly, needs are categorized into these 5 categories. Psychological needs are basic needs: safety and security, love and belonging, self-esteem, and self-actualization. So all of these have certain examples of what it actually means within it. And what is Maslow's idea is that this pyramid will not stand if you go here instead of addressing this. Each foundation needs to be addressed one at a time for you to be able to reach the next level of your needs. So for example, of course, if there's no food, water, and shelter, you're not going to think about your job and your lover or whatever, right? Or even your employment, for that matter. So why I'm showing this is needs are great to know, but you also need to categorize your needs internally to understand where it belongs, so that between two needs, you know which one to focus on when you have conflicting needs. Like, if you're not sure, okay, which one of these two needs, I have these two both, which one of those I need to focus on, this might come into help for you. Okay, and finally the request part. Okay, so for request, right, it is usually better if you tell them in a positive note instead of saying in a negative connotation. As an example given here is, instead of saying don't be too loud, you can ask, can you speak softly? It's exactly because our brains just can't accept don't. We just have the strong ego where we just can't accept no, or someone else telling you can't do that. It's exactly like telling a toddler, don't go pick up that. They will go pick up that. And interestingly enough, subtly, we also have this. I'm a very spiteful person. Like, if someone says you definitely can't do this, I'll be even more encouraged to actually prove them wrong. But on the other hand, if they were to say, what, hey, maybe let's do this way because this might be better for you, I'll be more open for reception. So when you're trying to communicate with someone, always make sure you're trying to frame it in a positive way, so that it registers better with them. And this is the note test that I told you about. If you make a request and you cannot hear a no with empathy from your side, then it was never a request from your place in the first part. Like, you were trying to make a demand from that person. Okay. And to make, like, for example, in your case, you said you weren't sure if the other person will take it in a good fashion, right? And that's where requested reflection is very helpful. Like, for example, once you communicate to that person, you could tell them, hey, just so we are on the same page, can you tell me exactly what you understood my needs are? If they are able to tell that back to you, great, they understood. If not, there is room for more communication. So 3 points: always be positive. Make sure you're able to take a no for an answer. That way, you're not making a demand. And always ask them for a reflection to say, what, hey, did you understand me properly? And that usually helps. I mean, it's supposed to be a workshop example, but whatever. You see this example where, when I see the report wasn't finished, which is an observation, I feel anxious feeling, because I value reliability and team success, which is a need. Will you be willing to meet for 10 minutes to discuss the new timeline? This is a request. Can you guys tell me how we usually talk in this situation? Like, let's assume that you are a manager and I am the one who didn't deliver. How would you talk to me? Some of you have worked. How has your manager talked to you in this exact situation? You don't even have to share. But you see the difference on, just recollect your past. Like, think about what happened and see, how we are rephrasing it. See how which one would have landed better with you. Okay. Right. No, I was looking for volunteers. You guys just walked in right on time. Oh, cool. Were you here last week?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay. So you're familiar with the four ways of disconnection? Kind of, sort of. Remember something? 4Ds?
4Ds, yeah.
Perfect. Great. Awesome. So, okay, you and him are going to be the ones who are doing this workshop, okay?
Okay.
So you are managing a project, okay, and he is your subordinate. Okay. He did not deliver on time. You are not Sarah, okay? He didn't deliver on time. It was supposed to be delivered at 5 p.m. He did not deliver. Okay. How will you convey that to him?
I'll try to ask him that he knows what he has done first. He accepts. Means he sometimes he
You guys talk.
Okay.
Literally, you guys just talk with each other. Yeah, go ahead. You can face each other or come here. Whatever
He
works.
wasn't there in part one. Is it fine?
That's okay. You're gonna do most of the lifting over here.
So, are you aware that we had a deadline by 5, right?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. So, we were supposed to send the project to the client. So, what happened actually, I would like to know.
There were some bugs.
You could have.
You know what? I'll help you guys. Come here. Both of you come here. It'll work. Come here. Are you comfortable doing it? If not, it's fine. You can say no. Okay, cool. Thank you for being a good sport. Come on, let's go. Let's try.
And doing it alone.
I mean, you need another person to do this. See, I want you to be in the role of an actual manager who has a deadline, who missed this deadline, and your boss, the VP, is just breathing down on your neck. He's like, why the heck is my presentation? He's just breathing down on you, okay? You can stand here, it's fine. Okay.
So may I know why did this project has been delayed? It was supposed to be sent by 5th of this March.
There were some potential bugs because of which it got delayed.
You could have mentioned this in the last stand-up. I would have given you the right appropriate help to resolve these bugs. Like
Last
saying
time it
it
was
now
all-
makes it difficult for me to say things to the client, right? He's expecting us to deliver to him.
Yes, sir, okay.
Our time is up. We cannot work on it.
Sure, go ahead, yeah.
Actually, our time is up, Yash. We cannot work on this now. This project deadline is already over. So now our work doesn't make sense. And
So let's launch it.
huh?
We'll
So you
do
want
the
me to take this as phase 1?
phase 1. We'll do the adjustments in the post launch.
So
We'll send security updates.
are you ready?
Go ahead.
Then I'll be dedicating you especially to that client, and whatever comes up, you are supposed to handle it by right then. So is it okay to you? Because you missed the previous deadline, you have to do this extra work today.
I'll make sure he leaves satisfied.
So is this scenario?
Okay, great. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being a sport. Okay. Wait, it's not done yet. Okay. Yash?
Yeah.
Okay.
Akshay.
Great. Okay. Akshay, you asked a question to him, right? You asked, why is it not ready yet? His answer was there were bugs. How did you feel about that answer?
I was very, very upset.
Very upset. Why were you upset? Essentially, yeah, why were you upset? Rightfully so. Why were you upset?
Because I thought he had the potential to do the work on time, but he missed it due to
Okay.
some reasons.
Okay. You're saying you were upset.
Hmm.
You are upset because he didn't do it, or is there another reason for you being upset?
Because the job is not done. That's
Right. But what is your internal feeling when he said that?
it. He is not capable.
No. That's a thought.
Okay.
Okay. So the difference between a feeling and a thought is if you say another person is responsible for what is happening, then it's a thought.
Okay.
Feeling is what's happening within you without another person interfering. Okay. So whatever he said, it made you feel upset. You felt upset.
Yeah.
But why were you upset? Think about that.
Because the reasons he gave could have been handled it properly if I knew it before.
Is that a feeling or a thought? What? Thanks. Why do you think it's a thought?
No, I am not in this zone to think what is thought and what is feeling. I just came to
Yeah, sure. Okay. But you guys saw this whole interaction, right? Could you guys tell? Does anyone want to volunteer on why this interaction was not empathetic or why it went sideways in the first place? Demanding. Where was he demanding? Who was demanding, and where was the demand happening? Correct. Yeah. Yeah. You guys can sit down. Thanks. Thanks, both of you. Right, demanding, right? What else was missing? What else was happening over here out of the 4Ds? Let me turn the 4Ds on so that you guys can kind of think about it. Was there a diagnosis happening over here? What was the diagnosis over here? Thank you. Yeah. Was there denial of responsibility over here? No? He accepted, yeah, but he said, the manager said, you know what, but we have to deliver it. I don't know what to do. Right? So there was some denial happening over there. And there was a demand, of course, like you said, so that for him to complete. There was no deserve happening, as far as I remember. Yeah, you're a very nice manager. You didn't punish that guy at all.
You saw me.
Oh, I stopped you. Okay, cool.
The deserving happened because at the end he said you need to be responsible.
Oh, he said that?
From now on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks for catching that. Okay, I did not hear that part. Okay, cool. So, all 4Ds happen. And this is just a random 2% who are not even in the job of a manager or a developer, who's just, casual interaction is happening like this. Imagine what happens when you're actually in the heat of the moment and you're just having a conversation with someone, if this is how you're used to talking. No way, right? It's very hard. So an example over here that I have is, you guys can read through it to kind of understand, how the 4Ds approach is not very great and why, each of that has its own problems associated with it. Does anyone else want to try how it will work with the 4 gears of communication, like how we spoke about observation, needs, feelings, and requests? We have any volunteers? Okay, we have one. Is there another volunteer? Okay, go ahead. Wow, the person who did needs for a job, who got paid for it, is going to do this.
I wish I was paid for it.
Okay, go ahead, guys. Yeah.
I can try the communication part, like the manager part.
You are the manager, and she's the person who's the developer. Okay, cool. You guys want to do it here?
Not really.
Okay, that's fine, as long as the class can hear you.
Hey Bhavani, just wanted to check in about the report. It was not submitted by council and it had me concerned because we've been slowly building up this trust with the client and they really value when we show up on time. And the team has also been feeling that there have been a couple of delays and I would like to address this with you so that we can talk about it and work on it together. Thank you so much for addressing that, Pranati. Just to let you know, I was also handling another project with the team, which conflicted my capability of submitting the task on time. I should have come to you earlier with this request, but since I was also handling the other project, it became really overwhelming to handle both the tasks on time. I would definitely respect your respect the position where you are at. I will try to submit this task by the 9 p.m. of the day, and from there we could go on. And hopefully that helps you to have a clearer conversation with your client. I appreciate that. I think moving forward, we can discuss more about how your timelines look like and make sure you're not bombarded by other people because we are the ones working together. I don't want other people to take out their headspace. All right, great. that sounds good. That made me feel at more peace. Thank you.
Okay. Hey, thanks, guys. So, how was this conversation compared to these two over here?
That's good. But I feel one thing, the guy who's at the lower end, the employee,
Yeah.
that employee took the responsibility and she said,
Yeah.
I could have come earlier, I could have tell you what happened in my life. Like
Right.
he had bugs, right?
Right.
He could have come earlier. You don't have to wait till the manager come and ask what is the issue, then you
Yeah.
say why I was having bug.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one of the 4 Ds. Denying responsibility is one, and this person showed how you can accept the responsibility. So there was an observation from the manager side where it said it's delayed. She did not have any form of judgment over there, and she expressed her feelings of how the team was feeling, disappointed or whatever about it, and she communicated her need, and there was a request also to see how we can further prevent this in the future, and there was conversation to being open. Just curious, do you guys think your conversation would have gone this way before being aware of all of this, your needs, wants, and all of that?
From my personal experience, I wouldn't say it would have gone this way because I feel like it comes with experience, it comes with internalization, and also comes with a grip on language. I might have had a better conversation if I was talking in my own language because I had more grip of vocabulary there. But since coming here and the way of speaking is so different from where I come from, we are never meant to acknowledge feelings and needs as a culture. Like we like, Mom, I feel this way because I need this. Like, why the hell do you need this? Why? There's no like liberty to have that conversation in the first place. So now it's like if I go with the same language and vocabulary to my mom, she'll end
Chappals.
quickly. Like that's never acknowledged. So I would say these 4 things are something that you have to practice over time, and that's when you realize.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for the great segue. Actually, the next part we want to talk about is called inner alchemy.
I was not putting my mom at a bad situation.
I'm sure everyone has had some experience like that with some family member at some point of time. It's okay. But is it right to say, or do you feel angry or upset when your mom denies your needs and feelings and all of that like that?
Oh, definitely. I think when you were actually showing that screen, right? Like, oh, you never listen to me.
You just saw your mom, like you heard it in your mom's voice, like you never listen to me.
I was like, oh my god, I just could hear my mom saying that. But it's not a fault of her too because she also never had that vocabulary or space.
Of course. Yeah.
Initially, I was like, okay, you won't listen to me, I'm not listening to you. We're just like living our own ways. But later, it becomes more important for you to give that space to listen. So that she can also grow and you can understand.
Yeah. And then that's exactly why I am personally very passionate about this topic, because the more people learn, irrespective of age, it just facilitates better understanding between them. The relationship is just becomes that much sweeter, that much nicer, that much easier to flow around. That we have enough stuff in life to bother with. Relationships don't have to be one. Okay. But the segue that I really like that what you did was, it's very hard, or when people do that, when you try to communicate how you said my needs, my wants, and if I follow all of these 4, like let's assume that you guys follow these 4 gears, you explain everything, and the other person still does not want to talk to you. Of course, anger is going to build up, frustration is going to build up. How do you handle that? And that's what I call as inner alchemy, transforming anger. Okay, anger is not wrong. Okay, like if anyone here overthinks that anger is wrong, I'm telling you, you are wrong. Like it's not wrong to have anger, but anger is a very unwanted feeling. That's the truth. It is not good or bad in any way. It's just not ideal, or it's not worth it for the most part, because it blocks spiritual progress. And in spirituality, we call it as an anartha. That's the word for it. Okay. But most of the time, anger is not the main thing in focus. It's more like a car check engine light that pops up on your dashboard, I'm sorry, I don't have a better example. Sure, yes, especially if you have an old car. So it's like a check engine light saying that, you know what, something is wrong. And it is your job to go park the car somewhere and check under the hood to see what's wrong with the engine. Is the radiator leaking, or there's not enough oil, or converter, yeah, or your catalytic converter is missing. Someone stole it overnight. It could be any of those, right? With the car, but you understand. Like the same way, when you get angry, that usually means there is something else wrong internally, and it's manifesting as anger. It could be an unmet need. It could be like, you don't know what your need is, and that's frustrating you. It could be anything over there, and it's your job to pause, breathe, and figure out what's happening, because another person's not going to come and do it for you. Heck, they don't care if you're angry, unless it's your wife. She'll ask you why you're angry, and then she'll give you a hard time because you're angry. My wife is not like that. This is on record, okay? My wife is not like that. It's recorded. Yeah, my wife is not like that. I'm just saying general. Yeah. There are three parts to anger that I would like to bring your attention to. One is called the stimulus, which is that one thing that will trigger your anger. Like you would have been having this horrible day, but you would have had it under control. But this one thing that your roommate does will just spark this ignition on you, and you will just go like boom. Like he would not have done the dishes. You had a long day, you finished your midterm, your professor gave you a hard time, you come home and your roommate did not do the dishes and it's dirty in the sink. That is all the spark that you need to get angry and just vent out on him. I think Akash has had that experience over here. But that is actually a warning light, because your underlying need in that case is cleanliness. Like, you know what, I needed that vessels to cook dinner for myself and I don't have it now, and that was your underlying need. So that's what you have to spend some effort, take some time to diagnose and understand what's happening. And one interesting thing that I would like to bring is the stimulus, for example, in this case, the roommate or whatever I said, is never the is never the cause for how you're feeling. That might have been the trigger, but that is not the reason why that anger or that whatever feeling you have generated or originated. So you have to figure out what it is and not lash out on that person who was the stimulus. And most of the times that's what we do, myself included. And the change in vocabulary that we need in the situation is not because you did this, because you didn't do the dishes I'm angry, because you didn't complete the project I'm angry. It's because I have a need for cleanliness, I am feeling frustrated, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling irritated, whatever. Clear? Yes, Rishabh.
What do you do? Like, okay, project is not done.
Yeah.
You know that you're angry because project is not done.
Yeah.
Project is still not done. How do you deal with that? Like, you keep staying, like, wherever that need is coming from, that anger, like, still not done. I mean, you didn't lash out on the person, fine, but the job itself stays as is. How do you deal with that? Like, how do you not let that affect you?
Well, it is going to affect you, right? Yeah, but does it have to affect you in anger? Does the result have to be anger? Does it have to be you losing your cool? Not necessarily. There is pressure, there might be stress, there might be people pushing you to get some deliverable out. But it's not like someone's holding a gun against your head and saying, do this right now. A friend of mine told this to me. He's much older, by the way. Like, he told it to me that in life, 99% of the time, you are not in a situation where you need to have a solution at that point in time. It's not like someone's holding a gun against your head and asking you, like you are in 35th Street and some person is holding a gun against your head and give me all the money that you have. It's not that situation always in day-to-day life. It is okay to take a breather and revisit the problem. If you keep the problem here, all you're going to see is the problem. If you keep it here, you might find some solution. So it's not always a gunpoint to your head. I'll ask you this: project is delayed anyway. What if it's 10 days or 100 days?
What if your job is ideal? Like you have certain kind of obligations on it.
Of course, yeah. And I mean, depends. Are you the manager or are you the developer?
It's not a specific scenario, but you can say.
Yeah. So a good point that he brought up was in that conversation. I don't know if you were there when those two were talking, but that person who was speaking the role of a developer, they brought up this answer that I should have come to you before when I had a problem. I did not, and that's wrong me. Same thing. If you know you can't deliver something, go talk to someone. Yeah.
And it is happening because of a non-acceptance of the situation. And if we are just accepting the situation, then only we can effectively change the thing. I mean,
Sure.
this is not going to be delivered when I'm accepting this situation.
Yeah.
Then I'm just thinking, what are the possible actions which can be taken to resolve this situation?
Yeah.
So it's like acceptance and non-acceptance.
Yeah. Does that help you or no? Not at all.
No, your point makes sense, but like, you can keep the problem away for you for some time, but in back of your mind, that thing still is there.
Hey, just because you keep it away doesn't mean the problem disappears.
Yeah.
The problem is still there. I'm just saying most of the time the problem is always here. We always keep it here. Very, very rarely is a problem that is always here. It is just our perception of the problem, always. Yeah. So I think that's all I have. Oh yeah, cool. This is the important part. Sorry. Yeah. So okay, great. So anger is there. You talk to someone. I'm sorry if I'm boring you guys. This is the last part, I promise. Okay, when you followed the 4 gears, but still no dice, nothing happened. How can you handle it? 4 ways in which you can handle it. You can either blame the person who did that to you, counter-attacking. Like, how dare you say that to me? You think you are better than me? No. You can tell your roommate. Your roommate might tell back to you, "You are no better, bro. You didn't wash your dishes for 1 week." He might say that to you. That's called counter-attacking. He's blaming you because he just finds something else to blame other than what you're telling, or blaming yourself. You could go into a self-deprecating mode where you'll be like, "Yes, I am hopeless, I am useless, I have no skill, etc., etc., etc." These are honestly ways that we deal with, right? Like I'm sure all of us would have felt any one of this at some point in our lives. I have all 4 actually. uh, Self-empathy is when you're saying, what, great, whatever that person said, they said it out of their own problem, and I'm gonna take responsibility for my feelings over here. My roommate said some harsh words to me. I felt hurt, but I still value my contribution in this household, so I'm just gonna move on. Fourth one is empathy for others. The same roommate can say, what, that person lashed out because they have an unmet need which they are not aware of and they don't know how to handle it, so they're just attacking me, and this has nothing to do with me. All 4 are coping mechanisms. I'm not going to say no, but how they deal with the situation is very different. Clearly, some ways of handling is better than others. It just depends on if you have the mental capacity and the intellect to actually operate from level 3 or level 4 instead of level 1 and 2. I mostly operate at 1, even now. But I go for 4 in hindsight. So it's okay if you operate at 1 for now. The goal is 4. It's okay if you operate at 1. But you could always go back to that person again, when you have calmed down and when you know better, you can always go tell that person, "Hey, you know what? I'm sorry for how I acted." It takes a lot of courage and effort to actually say sorry. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So when anger arises next time, pause and ask yourself, what is a need of mine that is unmet, that is causing this light to go on, and what might have happened to have caused it, or for you to behave that way. Just try it next week. See, if you can catch yourself at some point, and maybe you'll interestingly know something about yourself. You know. Do we have time? Okay, cool. Okay, so far, I spoke about all negative aspects of communications. Let's think about it positively for a change, okay? Let's say you want to thank another person. Interestingly, thank you can also have judgments in them. An example is, Karthik, you are a great developer. This is actually what my boss told me. Okay, I'm not even making this up. Uh, but you see, in this response over here, it does not give me any constructive feedback. There's nothing over here. He's just saying you're a great developer. What? Why? Why do you say that? Nothing. But if he were to put it this way, hey, when you spend 2 hours helping me debug something, it was very helpful for me, and I really appreciate your support and everything that you did for the team. If you see here, the same aspect of communication where we spoke about feelings, observation, and needs and requests, all of them apply for even when you say thank you to a person. If you put it like that, it's not more generic. It actually feels like you actually mean when you say something. So observation, feelings, and needs, those can be used even for saying thanks. Some examples are over here. Instead of you're a great listener, you can say, when you listened without interrupting, I felt valued because my need to be heard was fulfilled. Thank you for that. I'm not expecting you guys to use these words. Even I won't. I'm being very honest. Okay. But it's something to think about next time when you try. You don't have to operate in this space 24/7. But from time to time, for your loved ones, if you can, tell that to him, hey, you know what, you did that for me. It made me feel like this way. Thank you so much for that. That would definitely go a long way in keeping the relationship alive and active than always operating on just thank you for this, thank you for that, blah, 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 which is also great. I'm not saying no. Yes, Rishabh.
I wanted to add on this after you finish.
Go ahead.
I feel like as humans, we communicate on more planes, not just words. Like you can, like I think maybe what you're going towards is be more like it should be a lot more genuine and heartfelt. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you're a great developer. Like, you can tell by the body language or like how the person says the context, like when they say it. It also like in real life, it's like if suppose I'm talking to my mom, for example, and and have the second one example. I won't be saying to my mom, when you clear let's explain the complex data I felt to you because like this is like a huge story. Like,
Yeah.
usually when we communicate in like sentences or thoughts. So I feel like body language also counts and
Sure.
All those some context also counts.
I don't disagree. I completely agree with you, and that's why I said we can't operate in this zone 24/7. Yeah, and but to the same example, if you were to call your mom and tell her, "Hey, mom, you know what? Now that I'm living alone, I can understand how much sacrifices you like. I can empathize and I can see how much sacrifices you and dad would have made for me to be here. Thank you so much for that." I bet you try telling that, she will definitely tear up, or even if not tearing up, she will actually feel something else than the regular thank you that they usually say. I've tried that. Yeah, because when you say something specific, when you're thankful for something specific, you're acknowledging that other person's effort, work, years of validation. You're giving them validation essentially, and that means a lot to a lot of people. And similar to how you can give gratitude, there is also the art of receiving gratitude. Most of the time we think that if someone's praising us or giving us thanks, we'll be like, no, 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 I didn't do much. Oh, no, 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 no. You are essentially saying, hey, you know what, it might have been a great help for you, but that was chittu for me. Like, I don't even think about it as worthwhile. You don't have to operate in that line. It's okay to say, oh, really? Okay, you're welcome. It's okay to say that. You don't have to be humble always. In fact, saying that you're welcome is the humility you're showing over there. Okay, so to receive gratitude is also, an art, and you can be empathetic in that way, and when you accept it in that fashion, it shows you more love to that other person. Yeah. So there are 4 Ds, 4 gears of communication, and 4 choices of how we can respond, and there are 3 parts to gratitude. So 4, 4, 3. You guys can remember it that way. Observation, feeling, needs, requests. Blame others, blame self, self-empathy, and empathy for others, and observations, feelings, and needs met. So key takeaways: empathy is presence, right? And your choice of language matters. Always try to understand your feelings versus thought, and always know that needs are universal. It is needs that you need to focus on, not on your wants/strategy. And the 4 gears, and using gratitude. And towards the end, this is my own personal ad. Observe without judgment, feel with vulnerability, need with honesty, and request with openness. I think if you were to follow this, you might probably have all of us will have a nice time trying to interact with everyone else. Yeah, this is the last slide. Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thank you for being a nice crowd. Thank you for helping me enact the dramas and all of that. That was very nice. Thank you. Yeah, but if you guys have to talk more, there's always dinner where we can talk more over dinner. Go ahead. I'm playing. Okay. Is he your roommate? It's not 3 beats, is it? It's not 3 beats, right? It's not 3 beat, right?
Yeah, normal, like normal.
Ah, okay. Yeah, as long as it's not a 3 beat tune. It's okay.
Oh, no.
Okay, you turn it off. Oh, why don't you turn it on? We can just dim the lights. Yeah. This is okay? Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
now we'll have Prasadam, and everyone can please form a line. We need a few people to help with surveying. This is great.